true from GunsAmerica. As many of you know, I'm a practicing attorney. I have been mostly criminal law. I've been a defense attorney as well as I'm currently a deputy prosecutor. And I can tell you for a fact that as lawful, law-abiding citizens that believe in the Second Amendment, sometimes you will find yourselves in situations where you may actually have to exercise your constitutional right to defend yourself. This is not legal advice. The laws in states differ, but I'm going to give you a scenario that is going to generally be applicable in almost any state. So here's the situation. You're in bed, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and you wake up because your dog is now in the bed next to you growling and barking. You heard sort of a crash, but you were asleep and you weren't sure what it was. So you jump up and you lock your bedroom door. It's the first thing that you do. Then you get on your phone and you start looking at your security camera footage, and it shows you that there was movement just 30 seconds before. And on your security camera footage, you see a man with a mask on. He's got a weapon, a gun of some kind, and the noise you heard was him crashing through your front door. So you're now very much aware that he is inside your house. So guys, the rules for self-defense inside your house are less than what's required outside. And at this point in time, especially with a mask and a weapon, we can assume that he is here to harm us. And in that situation, you're going to defend, you're able to defend yourself and the people in your house. So you happen to have a shotgun in your house and you've got some buckshot loaded in it. The question is hey, how effective is this stuff going to be? What's it going to do? Can you shoot him through this locked bedroom door should you need to? So a few seconds later, you hear him at your bedroom door, you hear the handle clicking, he's trying to get in, you can hear his shoulder against it. So you immediately tell him, hey, I've called 911, I'm armed, you need to leave. The noise doesn't stop, you know he has a weapon, so you're going to go ahead and take a shot through the door. The question is how effective is this shot going to be? Are you going to be able to stop him? And that's what we're going to answer today here at GunsAmerica. So guys, please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment. If you hate our video, if you disagree, if you didn't find it useful, tell us about it. Tell us how we can improve. We're always interested in that sort of good feedback. But make sure that it's like something that we can actually use. Now, first thing I want to talk about, we're going to be doing buckshot tests today. And so some of our viewers don't actually know what buckshot is. And so we're going to start sort of simple and talk about birdshot first. So right here, down here on this end, I've got some Winchester. It's 2 3/4 inch 12 gauge. They're going 1,200 feet per second. It's 1 1/8 ounce of shot, and it's 8 shot. And I have previously already cut this shell open. We're going to tear this open so you can see what is in here. And so what we've got going on here, that's gunpowder spilling out all over the place. And there is a wad in here. And I just spilled some of these BBs, but inside this cup of this wad, there's a whole bunch of little tiny BBs. And those little tiny BBs are the size 8 shot. They're quite tiny, and you're gonna see us test these against buckshot today in our test. So there's your little 8 shot right there and that's how many of them come out. And as they leave a shotgun barrel, most shotgun barrels are smooth and they open up and spread out. Now, surprisingly, at close distance against anything, this BB stuff is very effective, but I'm talking like 5 to 10 feet. As soon as you get beyond 10, 12 feet, it becomes very much less effective. In fact, we're seeing it hardly penetrating cardboard once you start getting out to 20 and 30 feet. Like really thin cardboard it'll go through, but most of the rest of the time it'll stick in it. So that's what birdshot is. Buckshot is birdshot, except on a bigger scale. So I've got some stuff from Winchester here today. Let me just quickly run you through what I've got. This is a 2 3/4 inch. It's going 1,325 feet per second. It's double-aught buck. That's what the 2 zeros here mean. And it's got 9 pellets in it. So if we tear this open like we did the birdshot, just really quickly here, that's our gunpowder coming out. We got a wad in here, and I'm going to pop the wad out. It's a piece of plastic that separates the gunshot and buffers it from the buckshot. And then there's some plastic filler. It's this little white powder stuff. And then there's 9 double-aught buck round balls right there. Those are lead round balls that you can see right there. And if we're to grab these calipers and quickly measure one of them, this double-aught buck measures in at 0.3325, so 0.33 caliber. So like a .308 or a 30-06 like what was used in the M1 Grand, those are 30 caliber or .308 in diameter. These are bigger around than that. So imagine getting hit by 9 bullets, the diameter bigger than what a 30-06 would shoot through you, or a 300 Win Mag or a 300 PRC or something like that. So we're talking about 3 caliber. Now up next we've got similar buckshot. This stuff says that it is specifically for where's it at here? Deer. It says it right here. This is for deer. Obviously, it can be used for deer or for self-defense. In certain places, and let's just cover hunting while we're at it, buckshot is illegal to be used as a short-range hunting round. So it's not effective super far. It doesn't carry super far. These round balls don't have a super high ballistic coefficient, and they're not going that fast, so they don't go super duper far. So they work really good, but you hit a deer with 9 of those, and you're going to put it down. This one says that it is specifically for deer and predator. The rest of the numbers are exactly the same. I have no idea what else is different. Everything looks exactly the same to me, so we're just going to pop this open and see if I notice anything different about this one, the deer and predator versus the deer, because they make both. So the wad is different. That's one thing that's different. And it looks like for some reason these are shinier, but they don't appear to have any coating on them. So the wad is different. Maybe this is actually going to carry a tighter group further. That's actually pretty interesting that is the significant difference there. Otherwise, exact same load. Down here, we've got a 12 gauge 3-inch. So this is a longer shell. You can't fit as many of them in your shotgun sometimes. Often they kick harder because there's more powder and more pellets. In this case, it's the same size pellet, but this time there's 15 of them in here. It's a longer shell. They had to do that to fit 15 in. We're going to pop this open, and actually we've got some sort of a weird cardboard. Maybe we're not opening this one up right now. Wad in here. Maybe, maybe not. Sort of getting there. There we go. All right, so this is like some sort of a cardboard wad, and then we've got the plastic filler, and we've got 15 of these double-aught pellets, and they look actually identical to those right there, and they're the same size. We know they are because they're double-aught. And then finally on down here, we've got this double X Magnum buckshot. It's 3-inch, 1225 feet per second. There's 10 pellets, but here's the kicker. These are bigger pellets. These are triple-aught buck. So let's open this up and just see what we got in here. And we've got similar wad, this cardboard wad. Let me just pop this out real quick, and I will show you what these bigger triple-aught pellets look like. So, ooh, those are actually copper plated. So that is pretty slick. And let's look at the diameter of those. Let me make sure that this caliper is zeroed. And we're zeroed. And the diameter of these triple-aughts is 0.36. So these are bigger yet than the double-aught. And there is, in this case, there's 10 pellets in there. And they're copper coated, which is actually pretty cool. Today, we actually used a Browning A5. I chose to use an improved cylinder choke for everything today because that's a really common choke. It's one of the most common. In fact, it's probably more common than cylinder bore at this point. And so IC is kind of not really tight and it's not really wide open. It should give you an idea of what things are going to work like. So if you have like a cylinder bore, your patterns are going to be a little wider. If you were using something like a modified, you're going to have it a little bit tighter. The other thing is this is a 28-inch barrel, so that tends to keep your patterns tighter a little further. So keep that in mind. So a lot of you would be surprised to know that these are not just shooting patterns this wide at close distance, right? In fact, if you'll notice, a lot of the testing we did today, the patterns are this big at 10, 12, 15 feet. We even dropped clear back to 18 feet because I kind of figured that'd be about as far away from your bedroom door as you would ever be in our first scenario. So guys, our first scenario, we actually set up a door. It's a heavy duty wooden door and we shot buckshot through it. And we actually shot a couple different kinds of buckshot through it. and the devastation was significant. And we shot it right into a pumpkin. It's that time of year, and it went right through the door, no problem. It held a very tight group. You're still gonna have to aim at those distances. It's not the kind of thing where it's just gonna put a perfectly even pattern unless you can get further away. So if you want more spread, get further away from your door. If you ever have to shoot through it, inside your house. Now, one of the other things that was interesting is I thought, hey, you know what would Birdshot do? If that's all you had in your shotgun or in your house, is that gonna work? And the answer is, maybe. If you're close enough to the door, then it's going to blow a hole right through the door if you're close enough, and it's probably going to do significant damage to the person on the other side. If you're too far away from the door, it is, however, not going to even penetrate through the door. So that is really kind of what you need to know there. All the rest of this buckshot is going to work fine. All of it penetrated the door fine. The lowest recoiling is this stuff right here, the 9 pellets, 2 3/4 inch. It was quite easy to shoot. I could shoot it really fast. I didn't really notice the recoil at all. I honestly didn't even think that these Magnum loads were that bad to shoot. We also did some testing on drywall, and the drywall test was, hey, how many sheets of drywall will this stuff go through? And what if it's just like, what if you're worried about going through your house? Like, let's say the scenario is not they're in your house. Let's say the scenario was outside your house. In fact, we had a story like this at Guns America not too long ago, where a man showed up at a house, snuck around the house, was looking through windows, and then ended up shooting at the people inside the house through the wall and window. So let's say you had to shoot your buckshot through a wall. So drywall, insulation, and then some sort of siding. So we, instead of using siding, we used actual plywood. So guys, the buckshot had no problem going through that. Birdshot's not going to cut it. Buckshot went right through all of that, and you would have been able to shoot somebody on the outside of your house. Now, legally, you need to be more careful. The laws start to get tricky if you start shooting people on the outside of your house, unless they're actually shooting at you or have some way of shooting at you, or you believe that you're in imminent danger. I'm just telling you, it's a lot trickier. Be more careful. And then finally, I want to know, hey, what if there's other people in the house? How dangerous is this buckshot? How many potential inside walls could this go through? So we cut up 2 sheets of sheetrock, stacked them together. I think we ended up with 11 pieces total in the stack. And believe it or not, the 2 3/4 inch buckshot went the furthest. It ended up going through and stopping on the wooden door behind the 11th sheet. It didn't fully penetrate the 11th sheet, and it made really no marks on the door. The actual 3-inch triple-aught buck stopped in sheet number 10. I think there was 2 or 3 pellets in that sheet, but it stopped in 10. So look, either one of them is going to go further than you want inside your house, right? You got people, so let's say that's your wall, into the next room, into the next room, into the next room, potentially into the next room. Like, it's not good, right? So this is something that you need to be aware of, the direction you're shooting. If you're going to shoot this inside of an apartment, inside of your house, inside of where there could be other people through walls, it is not going to stop quickly. There is definitely too much power here. But guys, this is a favorite of law enforcement. It's a favorite of hunters because it doesn't happen to carry just super duper far. We actually did some tests with paper targets to just sort of see at different yardages what the patterns look like, how many pellets we could get on, and here's what we came away knowing. Even out to 50 yards with some of these loads, we were able to put pellets on target. I know that if you were to go put a tighter choke in and actually zero your shotgun so you knew where these specific loads hit, because they're all going to hit a little differently out of each shotgun, that I think it's quite possible that, you know, shoot a deer out to 70, 75, 80 yards, or predators like coyotes, and have no problem putting a couple pellets on them that would be quite devastating. But at 50 yards, we were still getting decent patterns. 25 yards is kind of the best patterns that we saw that were really significantly nice. I think that this ended up, we figured out shooting left, where the rest of these did not. But once again, that's my shotgun, my choke. Maybe it was the shooter. I've missed before once, I think. But that's why it's important to go out and pattern this stuff, see where it hits at different distances, check it out, see what you can hit with it. But overall, guys, buckshot is a great answer, especially if you don't want it to carry for miles. You know, it's not going to go through just tons and tons and tons of stuff. They're not shaped to do that. They don't have the sectional density to penetrate forever. We actually lined some pumpkins up and we shot through those, and I want to say that the furthest that any of this buckshot made it into the pumpkins was 5 pumpkins deep. Those aren't super dense, but you know, that it is what it is. So guys, that's kind of the situation. That's why those are some of the applications for Buckshot. I certainly would not hesitate to use it in a self-defense situation. I think it's going to be devastating. Even if somebody was, say, wearing like body armor, I actually think getting hit with all of these pellets at close range is going to just leave a wallop like you can't believe. Even if it didn't penetrate through the body armor, I think it's going to really hurt and cause damage. Even if you only got 1 or 2 pellets in somebody, I mean, these are significant. This is like getting shot with a 30-30 or something, right? So not something to mess around with. If you're a bad guy, you definitely don't want to get hit by Buckshot. Next time you're at the store, make sure you check out a box of Buckshot. Maybe it's even the kind of thing where you do a candy cane load in your shotgun, where your very first shot out is Birdshot if it's close, and then if you need to actually do more damage, you got Buckshot loaded in there afterwards. Anyway, you can learn more about Buckshot at Winchester's website, or you can visit GunsAmerica. We've got articles on shotguns and all kinds of stuff on there as well. We appreciate you guys watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you next time here at GunsAmerica.